What up, people? Today we're going to be talking about the inability to reject people and the fear of losing friends. Someone asked this and my response is sometimes you are going to lose friends, right? It doesn't matter who you are actually going to lose friends. I'm not saying this to beat you down, put you into scarcity mindset, or to make you worried about this kind of occurrence. It's just how it's going to be. Here are the reasons why you're going to lose friends. One of the reasons is because you're going to grow in different areas, right? You're going to be into different things intrinsically, and that will lead you apart. You will entertain what you like to do, what you find inspiring, what you find enlightening. That will take you into different spaces, different areas, and you will actually attract other people that are into the same things, have the same mindset or a similar mindset, and are aligned with you, and you are going to res with them in a different way than you used to with your previous friend, right? Your friend will do the same thing, okay? So that will take you apart in different areas because at your intrinsic cause, you won't align anymore, or you won't align as much as you used to because you've grown as people into different areas, and that's totally fine. It's okay. Sometimes it is a natural occurrence, and other times it's because you just see things a different way. At the very core, it's because you're actually very different people. Now, you can still do this and have love and respect for each other because at the end of the day, you're people, and that is how you should look at it. You should still have love and respect for each other. You shouldn't hate each other just because you've grown apart as people, or you're now into different things and you align in different areas with other people. In the same respect, you can still be friends with people even though you are aligned in different areas. Totally a thing, and I do have friends like that myself. However, there is also the other things that come into play. Effort between friends. If one friend isn't and you are all the time, you may reach a point where you're exhausted, you're kind of tired of putting in all the effort all the time, in which case you may pull back and then the connection is lost. And that wouldn't necessarily be all of your fault. It's because there isn't a reciprocal nature between you two. If your friend is reciprocating, then as much as you're putting into the relationship, your friend is putting into the relationship. Now, this may not always be 50-50, and that's totally fine, but there does need to be some give and take. Otherwise, it's just you putting in all of the effort in that friendship, in that relationship. That's not how the deepest and strongest bonds in terms of friendship or any other relationship are built and are maintained, right, and strengthened. There needs to be that reciprocal nature, okay? You shouldn't fear losing friends because it is gonna happen, but at the same time, you should do your best to be a decent friend, at the very least, as that friend is to you. You should have each other's best interests at heart, and you should be supporting and promoting each other and being there for each other. That is what good friends do. And they shouldn't be trying to cross each other, deceiving each other, lying to each other. And when I say lying, that also includes a lie of omission, whereby you're not telling someone something they would need to know or that would change a certain situation. Withholding the truth is a lie of omission. So it's being truthful between each other. That is how I personally think all relationships should be. Just keep it truthful, no BS, just full transparency. Because I just think, well, if you're a decent person, then there's no need to hide anything. It's simple as that. So just keep it truthful in order to keep that relationship on board and straight. And those are the best ways of maintaining, strengthening, continuing a strong bonded relationship. Doesn't matter if it's friends or intimate, etc., etc. That's the way I, at least personally, conduct my relationships. And I've built strong bonds because of that, and other factors as well, but that's definitely at the core. Being truthful, no lies of omission, just keep it truthful, be a straight shooter, and put in effort as well. Love, support, and care for your friends, straight up. But sometimes, like I said, you are going to lose friends because you are going to grow into different people and be into different areas and res with people much harder than you do with your current friends because you're just much more aligned with what they're into, and that's okay. You can still have love and respect for your previous friends and for your new friends, and just love and respect in general. The other thing is you may grow apart from your friends because they are just kind of dragging you down. They're not showing signs of not even keeping keeping up to you, because it shouldn't always be about that, but they may be entertaining darker areas. And when I say darker areas, I basically just mean detrimental or acts of hedonism. It may be drug, sex, alcohol. It may be things that bring you down as a person or lower your vibration. They may be into acts that are detrimental to your character and your person, to your spirit. They may be entertaining things that bring you down or destroy you as a person in some way. This may be mental, it may be physical, it may be spiritual, it may be in a number of different ways, and you choose to distance yourself from that person, or likewise they may do the same from you because they feel that about you. And again, this is okay, because at the end of the day, they're just protecting their best interests and their person. So it's totally fine for them or you to do so. You shouldn't fear this, because in essence, it's the same. It's you growing in different ways and recognizing that, hey, you may not align as much as you used to. We'll say, do take note if your friend chooses to distance themselves from you because you're a negative person, in which case, maybe you want to acknowledge these certain areas, not that your friend is totally correct about you, but you may want to self-criticize and self-analyze. And if you do need to become better in those areas, then put the work in, right? Put the work in, change those areas about yourself for the better. And then maybe if the friendship's really important to you, you want to reach out again. Or if it's not, but you still want to work on those areas, improve as a person, moving forward, becoming better, then do so, because that's in your best interest and you're being and becoming better from doing so. So in order to be better, do that for yourself and grow even more so in terms of self-improvement and in light of becoming a better person. That is very useful to and for you, so you definitely want to do that, okay guys? The other thing I'll say is you may have lost friends because you've moved to a different location. Sometimes it's very difficult for us or certain people to keep up with friends just because they're not in the immediate vicinity. I don't think that should be a thing anymore, because we've got a number of different ways in which we can communicate. Mobile, internet, email, so many different forms of communication. We've still got the traditional forms like letters and face-to-face meetings, but like I said, if you're not in the same vicinity, some of those traditional forms of communication aren't very effective. But you can still do letters, pen pals or whatever, and then you've got technology, immediate access to communication, forms which I mentioned before. So utilize those to stay in contact. If the friendship's very, very important to you, it's mostly going to be about effort and showing good faith, good heart, that you do want to keep that bond, you do want to keep that connection, you do want to continue to res with this person in those specific meaningful ways you share with each other, okay? And that's going to take effort, okay? So don't be afraid to put in that effort on your behalf, and your friends should be thinking the same way. That way you'll be able to maintain the friendship throughout years. Okay? Don't be too beaten down if you do lose friends, because it's literally just a sign of growth or even detriment. But if it is detriment, then take that on board, especially if it's on your part, and do the work that you need to do. Lastly, it's about effort. Are you putting in the amount of effort it takes to continue that relationship between you and your friend? All right? Topic that I do want to add to this video is the inability to reject people or friends. There is no such thing as inability to reject friends or people, because you are able to do so. It's just about whether you have the strength to do so or not. Okay? Now, if you don't, it's probably because you rely too much on that person. Again, the answers lie with yourself. You need to develop a stronger personality, stronger character. You need to acknowledge your weaknesses. You need to acknowledge why you need to distance yourself from this person, and you need to acknowledge the areas in which that person is breaking you down and destroying you. And it's for that very reason that you're going to distance yourself from the person in the first place, right? You want certain results for yourself. That's why you're thinking that you need to reject and distance yourself from this person. Okay? You want to be better. You want to be in better spaces. You want to reap more for yourself. You don't want to be damaged. You don't want to destroy yourself. You don't want this person to bring you down. You want people that have your best interests at heart. And if that is not your friend or the people that you hang around, then you don't want to be around those people. So you do need to develop the strength to reject those people. You don't have to do it even directly and say, I reject you, or I can't hang around with you anymore. Although you may choose to do that, I think that's upfront and honest and fair to do, okay? Do it in a respectful way. Basically say that, you're moving into different areas and different spaces and you're educating yourself in those areas. And those are the directions that you would like to do. If your friend is not necessarily so much on board with that and that kind of outlook, maybe you're just not right for each other at this point. And that's totally fine to do. Or you just push yourself into those areas of empowerment and improvement and self-improvement and just focus on that. At the end of the day, if your friend is not into the same things, that bond between you will eventually weaken because your friend will actually be moving into the areas he or she wants to go into. Again, that bond between you will weaken if effort is not put in from both sides. It's as simple as that. So sometimes it's not so much about a direct rejection of your friend. Sometimes it's more of an acceptance that the relationship has come to a certain point and that you're going to entertain and focus in areas that are more productive and empowering for you, okay? I would definitely say if it's an intimate relationship, let the other person know. Be upfront and honest before going your new route because they deserve to know. Intimate relationships can and sometimes are deeper in different ways. So communication is key. So don't just go off in some other direction. Be open and honest and upfront with your partner so that your partner knows what time it is, knows the score, and they can make their own decisions to set their life up in the way that they need to in lieu of the information that you've given them and your decision, okay? So both of you can equally go your different ways, all right? So I will say that for an intimate relationship, but outside of that, in terms of friendships, sometimes it may just be about focusing in on the areas that you're into now and distance yourselves from each other. Although me personally, I do kind of think it's best to be upfront and honest with this regard, but each person is going to have their own style and way of communicating that information. So those are all the different things about friendship, rejecting people and going your own way, but don't be too afraid of losing friends because really it's going to happen. Now, the last thing I want to say with regards to this topic is, and I'll make a totally different video about this that focuses on this one singular topic, is you need to be your own cheerleader, right? So there may be times where you don't have people that back your corner. And this is the real reason why you fear losing friends, because you feel like you're going to be alone. There may be periods of your life where you are alone, right? And you've got to be okay with that. And that's why I say, in essence, you've got to be your own cheerleader and you've got to have that intrinsic strength, that inner strength, so that you have the strength to continue doing what you need to do and pursuing the path that you want to pursue with or without other people's validation and or support. There may be times where you need to do that. I've definitely experienced that. You know, there may be those times, but it's a good lesson to learn and it's a good skill to build so that you can become much more resilient in light of a lot more different situations and challenges, all right? So there are or may be those times, not everyone is going to experience this, by the way, but there may be those times where you may need to be your own cheerleader and back yourself, essentially. You know what I'm saying? In which case, if you've built this skill up to the degrees that I have, you won't necessarily need friends. You know what I'm saying? I value my friends so much. I really, really do. I back myself though. You know what I mean? I really, really back myself because I've been in those situations and those times where I've been totally alone. You know what I mean? So I don't know what else to say to that. Sometimes you may need that. And I've been through those times. So sometimes you may just need to have that skill, not necessarily to use all the time. I'm not saying you should seek solitude and be alone all the time. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying I don't want any of you to really ever go through a situation where you would even need this skill, honestly. Friends and family, in my opinion, two of the most important things to have. You know, there are more, but friends and family are at the core as well as the other things. So these skills, or that skill that I talked about before, is very useful to have in times of solitude. or even if you face times of complete solitude, like that skill is even more crucial. However, if you don't have that skill and you do lose friends, you will find other people that res with you and align with your core values. I'll tell you that now. So you don't necessarily need to fear to the extent that you are of losing friends. Whether you choose to try and get the skill that I have or not, I'll leave up to you. I won't say that you need it, but I don't know what to say to follow up to this, because I'm kind of thinking maybe some of you might. At some point, maybe some of you might. So I'm not sure even whether to advise you to try and get this skill. And even to try and get this skill, you would have to go through complete solitude in order to attain it. So I'm not even sure you should try and get this skill, to be honest. I know some of you at some point probably would need it. So I'm really not sure what to advise. I don't think you should try and get this skill, to be honest. But at the same time, I don't think you should completely rely on friends or other people. Not because they would be untrustworthy or anything like that. That's not how I'm coming at this. But I'm just saying, you shouldn't really completely rely on anyone other than yourself. You know what I mean? You should be self-reliant and self-sustained as much as possible. I kind of want to say less for women because, and you guys make your own minds up. I'm not telling women how they should be. If they want to be like that, more power to them. But I just think it affects them differently than it does a guy. And women are much more communal creatures. Guys are very communal as well, but I do think guys have those periods where they hunt solo as well. So I think we just handle it better. It doesn't really change our person that much, you know? And if it does, it adds to our sort of masculinity and our strength and etc, etc. So take or leave, ladies. It's totally up to you. Like, it's your choice at the end of the day. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but that's just what I've observed and experienced. So that's my experience. To be okay with not having any friends, I'm not sure you should look to achieve that. So I don't think I would give that advice to anyone. Be in a place where you know, yeah, you may face times of solitude, some of you. Yeah, you are going to lose friends. But also, yes, you are going to make new friends and you are going to meet new people that res with you and align with you and that just are really cool with you. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you connect maybe on deeper levels, some of them. Maybe some of them you connect just as deep in different ways. You know what I'm saying? So don't beat yourselves up and don't freak out thinking, oh my gosh, I'm gonna lose friends. Yes, you are, right? But the good, meaningful friends will often stay with you because they care about you. They are bothered about you. Your best interests matter to them and they want the friendship to continue too, right? It's reciprocal. It's both ways. So it's not just you fighting for the friendship, they're gonna do the same as well. So you'll have your true good friends that stay in contact no matter what, right? So don't worry about losing friends because you'll make new friends, you'll make better quality friends, and you'll keep friendships that are of good quality. Because even though you grow, maybe even in a different area, and they grow, maybe in a different area, that bond is strong enough and is so strong that it won't matter, okay? So there will be all these kinds of dynamics. Yes, you'll lose friends. Yes, you'll keep friends. And yes, you'll make new friends. So don't fear losing friends because you will make friends, okay? And you will have friends. All right, guys? So yeah, I know this got deep and I know this went in a lot of different directions. And I apologize for the portion of the video where I had to kind of look much more introspectively. And that's because I started to cover a topic that I haven't explored internally before. So thanks for the opportunity. That was interesting. But yeah, my outlook, at least for right now, is that you shouldn't try and gain that skill that I have. It's a good skill, but it doesn't take you in healthy places to attain that skill, in my opinion. So I don't think you should try and attain that skill. And then the other portion is attaining that skill will affect you in different ways, especially depending on, potentially, may not with some people, but there's a good potential depending on maybe what sex you are or how you ingest information. And also, it's good to have friends, especially good friends. So yeah, really do value your friends, especially the good of friends. In fact, only have good friends, guys. Only have good friends. Don't entertain like not good friends or basic. Just have good friends, because they mean something, okay? So have good friends. Like I say, the friends that I have, they're absolutely amazing. They really are good people. And they mean so much to me. So just have good friends, guys. And like I said, yeah, I have attained that skill, but don't try and attain that skill, guys, okay? Love you guys, appreciate you all. Throw down in the comments your thoughts. Yeah, let me know what you think of the video. There are parts that you hate, there are parts that you agree with, there are parts that you don't. But thank you so much for watching the video. Appreciate you all. Holla. And I will see you guys. Take it easy.